You know you have it.
Michael Bublé, is such an honor to speak to you. Good morning.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
How is Spain treating you? Are you enjoying your time here?
I think I'm moving here. I really
like our
do.
food?
I feel like the whole world has gone crazy, but I feel like you guys have kept yourself sane over here.
I mean, I guess the climate does quite a lot on the food as well.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think there's just your personality and the way that you carry yourselves. I think you let things you're kind of more chill. And
yeah, you're quite chill as well. You're quite kind, and that makes you a bit of Spanish as well, maybe.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
So what about this Higher, Michael, this new album? I heard you find it as a snapshot of your love, the love you have. Who have you wanted to share your love with through this album?
Well, I would say that my producer had a wonderful analogy. The other night I called him to say thank you for everything he'd done. And I was surrounded by geniuses. You know, he and Paul McCartney and Willie Nelson and Ryan Tedder and Greg, just all these incredible people. And he said, you know, Mike, he said, this record reminds me of a chef. He said, a chef who loves preparing food, but a chef who loves the people he's preparing it for even more. And I think that was a really perfect analogy, because that's how I felt about it.
So who did you cook the dinner for?
I cooked it for you. But
well,
I did. I cooked it for you, and I cooked it for millions of people all over the planet who prayed for me and my family when we were going through the most imaginable horror. And even though you may be strangers to me and you may not have met me, I don't think you realize how many times my wife and I prayed thanks that we felt that love and that support, and it gave us a lot of perspective, both of us.
Actually, Michael, I was going to speak to you about this because yesterday I read something truly beautiful and I wanted to ask you something about it. Firstly, you said it. We're so happy for you and your family on Noah's recovery. Truly, we're really happy for you guys. The thing is, I read that while you guys were at the hospital, you used to build up a tent with some sheets to imagine a different world in which no one, you forgot about all those complicated things in life. And I find that music sometimes achieves this kind of breaks that we decide to take on life and to stop, to think, to admire, to love. Is there any song or artist that helped you guys in all this process, as you have helped so many people with your music? I
don't know if the truth is, if I'm going to be honest, I didn't listen to music for years there. I stopped. I mean, I don't think I wanted to hear or see, or I was quite, I think, pretty broken, I would say. I didn't sing. I didn't want to ever sing again, I think. I don't, or at least at that point, that's how I felt. But there were artists that were beautiful. You might not know them, but there were people that went out of their way to try to lift. You know, there was a wonderful comedian named Russell Peters from my country who was very kind. An English man named Peter Kay. You know, Elton John. I didn't know Elton John. And every Sunday, Elton John would call. Every Sunday. He would call and tell me that he loved us and that he and his husband were praying for us. And so those things change a life, you know, they really do. They, you know, Ed Sheeran was another person who was beautiful to me. And so they were good in that way.
What about, Michael, if we travel a bit in time to Burnaby, to Canada?
Okay.
Late 70s, even early 80s?
We travel all the way to Burnaby, where I still live.
Oh, you still live there.
I still live
so,
there.
A young Michael in a fisherman family in which there were no singers, producers, or whatsoever that I know. How was your life, and what was the click, Michael? What was the thing that closed you up to music?
Oh, I knew that music was just a part of my essence. And I couldn't even tell you when. I mean, as early as I can remember, 4 years old, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I was a baby, but I already knew that it just was so significant and a part of who I was. The love was so deep that I felt like no one else could feel this, how much I love music, you know. I think I felt like I was special, but of course I wasn't special. We all feel music. It's something that you said a moment ago, that music can move us and heal us. And you're so right. I mean, it is what a beautiful part of one of the great experiences of being human is for us to be able to digest and download music into our heads and our hearts.
So as humans, I find that one of our most important relationships in life are the ones that we share with our grandparents, because it's a kind of unconditional love whatsoever, you know, like grandparents are parents but with less responsibility. So talk to me about yours, about your granddad Demetrio Santanga.
It's funny, man. My grandpa, I lost my grandpa now a few years ago. And the older I get, the more I realize I'm so much like him. And one of my favorite things about him was that while he may have been in the body of a 92-year-old, his mind was 17, and he was so young. And I feel that that's how I feel. I feel like I love being a father, and part of the love I have is because I get to be a child again. You know, I get to stay and see. There's nothing more beautiful to me in the world than seeing life through the eyes of a child. They have this sense of wonderment, and they keep you young. And my grandfather had been kept young, and I think I was part of that. And
I even read, Michael, that he offered for free his services as a plumber in pubs. So
he
that
did. That's how it happened. He didn't offer. My grandfather would take me to nightclubs. I was 16. I was too young to get in. The drinking, you can't come in. The legal age limit is 19 in Canada. And he would fix their hot water heaters. He would go in and do their plumbing, and in trade, they would let me get up and sing with the bands. And he did that for years. And remember, I was 16 when I started, and I really started working in the nightclubs hard at 18, 19. That was my life. And then, of course, it took me 10 years before I got signed. So I was already pretty old for the business. I was, I didn't even have success or any sort of recognition or fame till I was about 27 or 28. So I think I had become the man that I was, and that's who I am. I mean, I think fame is a dangerous thing. I think it can stop you from growing, and so, I'm empathetic towards other acts who got so famous so young, because it's really hard to know, to know real life and how lucky you are, and it's hard to find that place of being grateful. That's why someone like Ed Sheeran, I talk about Ed all the time. I mean, this guy is one of the most famous guys in the world, but you know what? He's a beautiful person. He's handled it so well.
So, yeah, we were talking about Canada, the 70s. Even in the 80s, I guess groups music such as, like, I'm going to name some. The Guess Who, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Steppenwolf, the band with Robert Robertson, they were kind of still glowing. And yes, we're talking about mostly rock and roll here. What kept you maybe away, I don't know, these sounds, and brought you closer to crooners and the Great American Songbook, if that's the case?
No, it's funny. And by the way, the names you just mentioned, you said the Guess Who, and you said Bachman Turner Overdrive, Bryan Adams. Those are bands that were all managed by my manager.
Wow.
And yeah, Bryan Adams still. And so I did love those bands. I loved all music, man. Like, I loved it. I mean, hearing the Beastie Boys for the first time, and I thought Aerosmith was incredible. But there was a simple passion that I had for jazz. I just thought the musicianship, the feeling, the lyrics, the songs were just so rich and gorgeous. It wasn't surprising to me that I loved it so much. I always found it strange that other people my age didn't love it as much as I did.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So the way in music is to croon, is elegant music better?
To say it again? Ask me.
To croon, to be a crooner.
Well, it's funny, that word croon, if you look up croon in the dictionary, it means to sing softly,
yes, exactly.
and with emotion. And of course, I don't. I'm a soul singer. I am. I'm simply a soul singer. And so is Van Morrison, so is Adele. My heroes were Sam Cooke and Donny Hathaway. And so, of course, I'm an interpreter of the Great American Songbook, but I think the reason that I've been able to live in this very strange world, there's nobody that does what I do. And not to say that I'm better than anybody. It's just that no one else gets to write their own pop songs and get on the radio with Justin Bieber and at the same time be the new sort of Tony Bennett or Sinatra. And it's because I'm a soul singer who loves to interpret music, and I try to make it mine. And I think Adele is a great soul singer. I think Bruno Mars is a great. I think if Bruno Mars put out a standards record, I think he could make one of the greatest standard records of all time. I think he'd be completely capable of it.
Talking about making your songs, Michael, normally when I listen to covers, I enjoy finding finding something new in them. I'm thinking, for example, in great artists such as Joe Cocker, for instance.
Oh, that's a great example.
So, I find that when the lines and melodies are similar, the songs normally lose something, more even if they come from a great artist. But let me tell you that you are the only one, for me, that achieves greatness and sensitivity when being respectful with the originals, you know? I hope it makes sense to you, because it does in my head. So what's the secret on printing your soul in a cover?
I love whatever song you hear on one of my records is on that record, because I have the deepest reverence and respect and admiration for the writers that came before me, for the arrangers, for the bands, for the singers. I mean, I'm in love with it, and I think that I would never put out a recording if I didn't feel that I had earned the right to make it special or unique. And so, and I don't always succeed. I mean, I know there's times when I don't execute as well as I'd like, but it's what makes a record like this so special. It is truly the first time in my career that I feel I executed perfectly on every single song.
Just smile.
So, Michael, we know what's the music the rest of the world listens during Christmas time. Your album is one of the musts, we must say. What do you guys listen at home for Christmas?
We listen to a lot of the old stuff. I like George Michael a lot. I like Perry Como. I like Elvis Presley a lot. I like this Christmas record, of course. You know, I like God. There's so many. I think I like the holiday. I think it's a beautiful time of the year where people are a little kinder to each other, and I feel like we're in a world who desperately needs that time, and so I love that I get to be a small part of it. I really do. What a beautiful legacy. And you know, for me, can you imagine this kid from Burnaby, the son of a fisherman, who idolized Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley, and now I get to be one of them? I mean, I'll be dead for so many years, and I'll still be a part of that legacy, and that is an incredible feeling.
What did you think, or how did you live the moment after singing with Paul Anka for your first time?
Oh, I love Paul. I just talked to Paul this morning.
All right.
Paul's he's such a, you know what? There's I don't know if it's the same in Spain. I don't know, but I can tell you, Canadians stick together, and we really do. I mean, Ryan Reynolds, Gosling, Jim Carrey, all of the music stars, Celine Dion, Bryan Adams. I can keep going down the list. Dan Aykroyd.
Tons of talents in Canada,
but we all have each other's backs. Yeah. And when you're at a party, there's always an instant connection. And you know, when you're going through tough times, everybody kind of writes everybody. And it's a very interesting community because it's very tribal. We love each other and care about each other a lot. And even if we've moved away to Spain, or you know, if I'm living in Argentina, or you know, you have someone like, you know, I don't know, you know, William Shatner, who's been in this massive American star for, we still hold each other. It's very cool.
That's so nice. Yeah. Okay, so now I want to try and do something for you. I suppose that you're aware that maybe with intention or not, you discover so many artists for so many artists that maybe youngsters wouldn't reach if it wasn't because of some of your covers, you know? So I want to do the same with you. I want to listen to a New Yorker that has been trying to shine in the industry. Sure. It shines with his music, but maybe luck hasn't rang his doorbell yet. Okay. So what about if we listen to him and I ask you something later?
Oh, maybe I'd love that, man. If you're going to introduce me to something good, I'm excited.
Maybe you already know him. I don't know. He's called Julian Velard. Listen to this.
I don't know.
I think I'm in love with the girl next door.
So, when you have lyrics, voice, elegance, melody, and lots of desire, what's lacking? What's your tip on this kind of thing?
This dude sounds good to me, man. That sounds really good.
He is so good, Michael.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Do you know Jamie Cullum?
Yeah, of course.
He kind of, I mean, I don't want to compare because I know we like to categorize, but
yeah,
he has a very cool, distinct voice, very kind of soulful, and I like the tune. Did he write that song?
Yeah, he did. Girl Next Door.
Good song.
He writes all. I
like
his
it.
songs.
What's his name again?
Julian Villard. He's a New Yorker.
Julian Villard.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of Randy Newman.
That's You know, it's funny you said that. I was just gonna say I love that that sort of tone. There's another singer in America who has a similar voice, and I just can't recall his name, but I really like that kind of the little gravelly, you know, that kind of cool, distinct little richness in the voice.
Yeah,
really nice.
It's the kind of scene, that kind of Fort Burr Newman, New Yorkie, 70, 80
Yeah,
scene.
you know, it's funny, I had the greatest conversation with Randy Newman about, I had covered one of the songs and he had called me to say thank you, and he's just so fantastic, so original.
To make you feel my love, to make you feel.
So when you are one of the most important and known artists in the world, how can you handle that with being a loving and caring parent, which I think you are?
Because one has zero to do with the other. I'm a father and a husband and a son whose work is making music. I'm not a musician who's a father too. So just like you, I'm sure you're the same. I mean, I have to. I think I have to protect myself. Mm-hmm. I think if I was just that person, how sad would that be? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep. Would you like for any of your kids to be an artist and live what you have lived?
I want my kids to be fulfilled and happy.
Yeah.
And I surely never want them to have to live in a shadow. You know, I tell them all the time that this is what I do. It's not who I am. But the truth is, I don't have to say it because I live it. Because they see that Poppy is just normal Poppy, and then I put on the bat suit, we call it.
Yeah.
And Poppy goes on stage, and for some reason, people enjoy listening to me singing karaoke.
Do they know that you are so famous? The little ones?
Yeah, they know, but they don't. Listen, my wife is. In a lot of countries, my wife is way more famous than I am, and they don't. You know, I think everything. It's always, how do your mom and dad, how do they act? You know, how is it a normal family? Is it love? Listen, we go to church every Sunday and we pray every night, and we're always just grateful, and we try to show them by our actions that. Simple things, you know. It sounds so simple and the cliche, but treat people the way you want to be treated. And this is a secret to success in life. And also to try to live in the moment. I say to my son all the time, you know, this moment right now is the best moment we're going to have all day. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Don't think about what we're doing later. Be with me now, and this will be the greatest moment of your life.
Higher is Michael Bublé's new album. Michael, it's such a marvelous piece of songs. It's so delightful to sit down and listen with maybe a cup of wine. These songs, I'm truly blown away on this album, and my congratulations, Michael.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I would love to take all the credit, but I was surrounded by the most beautiful group of musicians and people. And I could never have come close to doing what we did without them. So I'll tell them all that you said that, and trust me, I will.
Such a pleasure too.
Thanks, man.
To have been speaking to you, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Lots of luck, and well, you don't need it, but thank you very much.
I hope you come to the concert when I come. I hope you're there.
I hope I'll be there. Don't worry, I will.
Thanks, man. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.